Diversity of Language in India was the title. And I found that to be a very fascinating topic. I did not know that. I know that in many countries of the world there are varying dialects and different things, but it just seemed like there was potentially some really big hurdles with language depending on where you're at in India when you move throughout your own land. So that's a unique aspect. And I know that's true in China and many other cultures in other countries. So the objectives of this speech, this was an organize your speech. And I remember doing this one because it wasn't so long ago. Emphasis being on using an outline and making it clear and easy to follow. I didn't really see that in this speech. I felt that the speech was very clearly presented and very informative. It just didn't. I just didn't feel the outline part of that. So I wanted to point that out before I really began kind of going through here, so you understood that. I like to stay true to what we're doing, but I also wanted to point out that I felt that you really delivered clearly and warmly too. I like your presence. Even from behind the podium, you didn't move out from behind the podium. I know you had, one of the things that this particular speech requires is supporting documentation and information, which I think for the most part you probably knew, being that India is your homeland. So you were very well informed and you clearly knew what you were talking about and were able to, in my mind, very convincingly present the facts and the ideas that you wanted to, and to make that so that, when you were done, it was like, wow, she really knows what she's talking about. She understands it and she's lived it. So that was kind of neat. There were several pieces of this: speech value, preparation, organization, opening, body, conclusion, and transitions. And I just felt that overall, you made a very warm, amiable presentation, but at the same time, it was very factual. It clearly pointed out the potential for how difficult it could be, depending on where you are, to communicate within the same country. And so I thought that was very fascinating. Your hand movements were good, and as I already said, the topic was very interesting. Things for improvement: I think it would have been good to identify the opening, body, and conclusion a little more clearly in the speech. And also, in the end there, you came to the end time. I'm not sure if the timer was working at that point. I didn't see any lights go on. So I wasn't sure where you were at with time, but I felt that you really would have benefited by maybe summarizing a little bit to help us kind of feel you concluding. And so, but other than that, I really felt like for your second speech, it was a very good job.